Welcome back, dickheads. So today we're going to be talking about Halloween Ends, new horror movie that came out last week. So spoilers ahead if you haven't seen that. I'm not a big Halloween fan. I never really saw the original movies, but I saw Halloween Kills last year and I saw a few of like the older Freddy movies. So I'm not a big Halloween fan necessarily. So if this review seems like I don't really care about the series, that's why, because I honestly don't really care that much. I'm not a big horror fan. But since it's October, I've been seeing a lot of horror films, as you know, so I know those are kind of repetitive and annoying, but Halloween Ends, the final installment of the John Carpenter, Michael Myers series, I guess you can call it, the newer trilogy that they came out with. I don't know if it's going to be the end. I'm assuming it is, considering how it ended, but I don't know. So, spoilers ahead for how it ends, and if you're a Halloween fan, I'm sorry. This movie upset a lot of people because it didn't end as a lot of people wanted it to end. I'm not a big Halloween fan, as I said, so I didn't really find it too upsetting. But if I was attached to this movie, like if this movie was a Marvel movie and a final installment of a series that I was really proud of, I'd be fucking pissed. Because Halloween Kills ended pretty dope, honestly. I mean, Michael Myers gets hunted down by the whole fucking town, gets beat up by a mob, and then he just comes back, and he's a fucking juiced up, OP, badass dude who just kills everybody. Kills fucking Laurie's kids, the whole fucking town's after him, and then the final movie, you're expecting it to be like an Endgame type movie where it's the whole town hunting Michael and he's like on the run, and you get like jump scares, like silent kills, not necessarily him like out in the open. But the movie didn't have that feel at all, and the movie opens up with a new character called Corey. He's babysitting this kid, and the backstory of like the beginning of Halloween Ends is like taking place in 2019. And Corey's babysitting this kid. The kid starts watching scary movies and then starts talking about Michael Myers. And then Corey's like a little on edge about it. And he goes in the kitchen, tries to get like a little snack, and then like hears something get knocked over. The lights go out, and you're like, oh, well, this is going to be the first kill, because usually Michael Myers kills like babysitters and stuff. And then Corey's like looking for the kid all over the house, goes upstairs, gets like locked in the attic as he's looking in the attic, which I don't know why the fuck he would look in the attic. As my review in Barbarian said, it's just a bunch of white people bullshit. Like, I don't know why this dude is fucking up there doing that shit, but he goes in there, door locks behind him like the Conjuring basement scene. And then he's like trying to bang on the door, and all while this is happening, the parents of the kid that he's babysitting are coming back from their like night out. And then the kid's up there, Corey keeps trying to bang on the door, and then he fucking busts the door down, and the kid goes flying back, flies 3 stories, and fucking dies. That is like the opening scene. The parents see it, and then Corey's framed for the murder. And as this is happening, I'm like, oh, well, they're probably using this as like a Michael like side story where he's gonna like where he actually killed the kid, but then Corey got blamed for it. But I was fucking wrong again, because Corey goes to fucking jail, and then there's like a time jump, which I don't know why the fuck there's a time jump at all. And it's like set in the future, honestly. I think it's like a 4 or 5 year time jump, or maybe it's like 3 to 4 year time jump. So I guess we're right around this area, 2022. But Corey gets out of jail, and then we see Jamie Lee Curtis's character, who has been in the previous installments of the movie and the original Halloween series. She's like dealing with the aftermath of Michael Myers from the last movie, Halloween Kills. So Laurie, Jamie Lee Curtis's character, starts like writing this book about her experience with Michael Myers, and the whole town still thinks she's fucking crazy, which I don't know how. There's not that much time between last movie and this movie, so the whole fucking town sees Michael Myers brutally murdering people and going on a rampage, and then 3 years later they're like, well, I mean, is he really real, or like are we just bullshitting people? Like, what kind of idiots are living in this fucking town? I don't know, but everybody thinks she's fucking crazy, and then everybody thinks Corey is a fucking psychopath because he killed a fucking kid, which I would think he's a fucking psychopath too. And then we see Allison, Laurie's granddaughter, whose parents died in the last movie. Laurie's kids died in the last movie, got fucking brutally murdered by Michael Myers. And then Corey and Allison see each other someday after Corey was getting bullied at like a gas station. Laurie brings him home, and then Allison and Corey like fucking hit it off. And you're like, is this movie even like a scary movie at this point? Literally 75% of this movie is practically a porno. I mean, the script writing was dog shit. Some of the tension between the characters was fucking dog shit. And you're just like, are these characters just here to have sex, or is this going to be a horror movie? Like, where the fuck is Michael? Because this was the final installment of a Michael series, and you don't even see Michael until the midway point or even later in the movie. And I mean, I was fucking confused, and I'm not even a diehard fan, so I would be pissed if I was you guys too. So Allison and fucking Corey start hitting it off, and then one day they get in a fight at this bar because Corey's like, you don't know what it's like having the whole town look at you as like a monster. And she's like, I know what the looks look like or feel like because my parents died and everybody looks at me as like a sympathy case. So I know what the looks look like. And he's like, no, you don't. Everybody sees me as a monster. So he walks out of the bar, goes down the street. The kids who were bullying him at the gas station earlier find him again. They fucking start fighting him and shit. And then they push him off a fucking highway, a literal highway. And this dude falls off into this ditch, and he's like unconscious for a little bit. Wakes up to this homeless dude over him who's fucking creepy. The homeless dude's a little creepy. The homeless dude starts like fucking talking about Michael and shit, and he's like, he starts pushing him and stuff, and the homeless dude almost kills him, and then Corey grabs his knife and fucking kills the homeless dude. And you're like, damn, Corey, you got the 2-0 fucking positive KD right now. And then there's this like little sewer hole thing that's next to the homeless camp. It's kind of like an It feel where you're like, oh, something's back there, obviously, because it's a fucking horror movie. And then Corey, being an absolute dumbass, crawls into the sewer. Like, Corey's got to be one of the dumbest characters ever. And he crawls in there, and he's like looking around and shit, and then you see some glimpses of Michael, and then Michael pops out of the shadow, fucking grabs Corey by the neck, pow, pins him up against the wall. And then Michael either like does this thing to him or Corey does something to him, one of the two, but either way they see like a flashback of like all the memories of what Corey did and what Michael's done, and like they merge together, and then Michael sees him and then lets him go. And then Corey like starts to feel sympathy for Michael, and I'm like, what is happening? And then Corey gets out, and then he starts to feel these urges like a fucking serial killer, and he starts to see that Michael was like opening his mind up to what he should see. And so Michael pretty much gets an apprentice is what happens. Michael gets a fucking sidekick in this movie. Allison starts to notice Corey's getting a little off. He's a little more tense, starts fucking going off on more rampages, ends up killing literally everybody who did him wrong. And then he tries to prove himself to Michael, so he puts on his own mask, which is kind of like a clown mask that he wore to the Halloween party with Allison earlier in the movie. Puts on his own mask and goes to this doctor's house who is the boss of Allison, because he's doing Allison wrong, like giving another chick a promotion when Allison deserves it, whatever. So Corey's like, this dude's a piece of shit and I need to prove him myself. So he goes and like you kind of get like a horror feel to it, but Corey ends up killing the doctor, but the chick he was with, she is able to run away into the house, and Corey doesn't have the strength that Michael does. So Corey goes into the house, or I mean, not Corey, the chick goes into the house, and Corey's like trying to chase after her, trying to bang down the wall, but can't. And then you get one of the dopest scenes in the movie for sure. You get a dope scene where Michael pops out of the fucking shadows, grabs the bitch, and pins her on the wall with a knife. And then Corey takes off his mask, starts smiling, and at this point, they're like tight. They're fucking teamed up. And you're like, oh shit, motherfucker's about to start dying left and right. But then Corey, being a fucking idiot, decides he wants all the power, which I don't understand this part of the story either. Goes back into the cave with Michael and beats the shit out of him. Like, Michael's some fucking OP ass, way more than a bodybuilder. This dude's got supernatural strength, and he absolutely obliterated like 30 people in the last movie. And there's only like a 3 or 4 year time jump between the last movie and this movie, and he's like an old fucking man. He just gets beat to the fucking pulp by some dude that's a bitch. A literal bitch beats the fuck out of him and then takes the mask. And then when Corey takes the mask, he goes to his fucking workplace, kills all the dudes that bullied him at the gas station and threw him over the ledge originally. And then Corey goes and tries to find Allison because he wants to get out of town. But at this point, Laurie Laurie's character has figured out that Michael has like a hold on Corey, and Laurie sees like Michael's eyes in Corey's eyes. So she's like, Allison, you have to get out of here. Like, you can't trust him. And then Allison gets like defensive, starts looking for Corey. But at this point, Corey's killed everybody. He's killed his parents, all the bullies, everybody that he's pretty much interacted with in the whole movie. Everybody's fucking dead. Except for Michael. And then Corey and Allison meet up. Or no. Corey like goes looking for Laurie, who at this point you're like starting to feel bad for, because she thinks that everybody's abandoned her because her kids are dead. Her granddaughter is like leaving town with Corey, and she's like mad at her. So you get this scene where she's like writing the final pages of her book that she was writing earlier, and you think she's gonna kill herself because she has like a suicide planned out. And then she shoots a gun, and you're like, damn, she's dead already. And then fucking Corey bursts in because he thinks she's dead. And she's like, do you really think I'd fucking kill myself, bitch? And just unloads a clip on this man. Goes crazy on Corey. And you're like, damn, this bitch is going crazy. Corey gets fucking knocked down the stairs. And then Laurie's character grabs a knife, fucking stabs him in the neck. And then Allison walks in the house. She sees this, blames everything on Laurie's character. And you're like, I mean, in the audience, you're like, why can Allison be this dumb? Like, how is she this dumb? And then you get a scene of Laurie like trying to call the police or whatever. Well, she called the police earlier when she called in her suicide to make it seem like she was actually committing suicide to trick Corey. But then Michael rolls up to the house. The real fucking Michael, the real badass, the main motherfucking man, rolls up to the house, grabs his mask off the ground that Corey was fucking snatching from him. And then Corey starts grabbing Michael because he's not really dead yet. Michael stands over this man, fucking grabs his head and just breaks his neck. Boom, shatters this man. And you're like, fuck. And then Laurie's hiding in and out of the house because Michael's here now. But Laurie's prepared for this shit. Over the last 3-4 years, she's gotten like over the fear of Michael, which is like the whole point of the story, I think, like getting rid of your fears, which is pretty dumb, but whatever. Michael absolutely goes crazy in the house, but then Laurie starts going fucking nuts on him, stabs him so many times, it's crazy. And then, but it's like Halloween Kills final scenes. Michael just brushing that shit off like nothing. But then it brings back to how the fuck did he get beat up by some random mechanic dude named Corey? How are you gonna get hand-to-hand beat the fuck up by a dude named Corey? But you can just take knives just fucking all over yourself from some bitch in her house. Like, what? So then Laurie starts going crazy on Michael, stabbing him, all this fucking shit. And then drops a fridge on him, starts pinning him to the table with knives. His fucking hands are all over the place. And then Allison is like driving away out of town trying to find Corey. And then she makes a realization, like, she sees like this tower burnt up that her and Corey were at earlier, and she's like, damn, Corey's really turning to the bad side. So she drives back to her house, sees Laurie and Michael fighting. Michael's pinned to the fucking table. Laurie grabs a knife, slits his fucking wrists, blood everywhere. this dude's dead. Like, he's not making it out of here. But then, obviously, he's not fucking dead because it's Michael Myers. And then all the cops roll up that she called in earlier for her fucking suicide, and you get, like, Frank from the old movies as well. He's rolling up, still has feelings for fucking Laurie. But as Michael's dying, he looks into her eyes, the same that he did to Corey, and she sees all of those flashbacks. So you're like, is Laurie living through Michael now, like Corey was doing through Michael earlier? So maybe that's how the series can continue, but I don't know. But either way, after Laurie absolutely obliterates his man, the cops show up, whole town sees Michael Myers is real. They pin him on top of a cop car. Frank and Laurie and all the OG Halloween actors and shit, they roll up and they're like, yeah, we gotta kill him for good. So they bring him to a fucking auto body place, throw him in a car compactor, and his body just gets fucking obliterated in this fucking metal twist thing. I don't know what it's called. But like those machines that are meant to destroy literal cars, they throw Michael's whole fucking body in there. So he's done. Like, there's no way he's coming back. He's dead. But he could be living through Laurie now, which we don't really know. But yeah, that's how the movie ends. I mean, I'd probably give it like a 5 or 6 out of 10, honestly. I mean, I'm not a big Halloween fan, but if I were a Halloween fan, this movie would piss me off. No lie. This movie would fucking piss me off. So I would understand if you're a Halloween fan and this movie upset you. I totally understand. It didn't end as I would have liked either, and I'm not really attached to these movies. So I would have liked to see a final battle between everybody and Michael, like an OG type shit. But like, they just tried to introduce so much, and introducing a new character like Corey like that just for him to die in the same movie and make it seem like he has a big impact just didn't make sense to me. So for anybody saying John Carpenter is the GOAT scary movie producer, he's not. I'm sorry you're stuck in fucking the 80s, 70s, 90s, but he hasn't made good movies in a while, buddy. I mean, he hasn't. This movie was not very good. It just wasn't. And for people looking to see this movie, I feel bad for you if you're really having your hopes up for this. But yeah, hopefully more movies will come out soon that I'll be able to react to. Black Adam comes out this week. I won't be able to see it opening night, but I will probably be seeing it Friday. So maybe a review on that like Saturday, or maybe I'll just wait until next Monday. But that's it for me, and I will see you guys next time. Peace.